I used to walk past Westbridge Academy with my head down. Now I walk in through the front doors, and everyone stands up. Funny how life works. 17 years ago, I failed Matric in that same building. Not almost passed. Failed. My name was never called at the final assembly. I remember sitting there in the school hall while Principal Margaret Holloway read out distinctions like they were trophies. Daniel Whitmore got 3. The hall exploded in applause. And me? I stared at my hands and tried not to cry. I wasn't lazy. I wasn't stupid. But letters moved when I read. Numbers blurred. When Mr. Brooks called me to the board to solve equations, I could feel the class already preparing to laugh. Ethan, he'd sigh, tapping the chalk impatiently. This is basic. Basic. That word followed me everywhere. Basic. Slow. Average. Not university material. When my results came out, Principal Holloway called me into her office. She didn't shout. That would have hurt less. She folded her hands and said, "Ethan, not everyone is academically inclined. Perhaps you should consider something practical." Something practical. That was her polite way of saying, "You don't belong here." I walked out of that office feeling like someone had stamped failure on my forehead. At home, my dad didn't know what to say. My mom tried to tell me it wasn't the end of the world. But in our town, if you failed Matric, people looked at you differently. Daniel Whitmore left for university 2 months later. Full scholarship. Big send-off. His mother, Claire Whitmore, had donated half the new science wing. Their family name was on a plaque near the entrance. Mine wasn't on anything. I didn't go back to rewrite. I couldn't handle sitting in that classroom again. Instead, I got a job at a small print shop in town. That's where everything changed. The owner let me design simple posters on the computer. At first, I just adjusted fonts. Then I started experimenting. Colors, layouts, digital tools. For the first time, learning didn't feel like drowning. I discovered something no teacher had ever noticed. I wasn't bad at learning. I just learned differently. I started watching free coding tutorials at night. It took me longer than most people. I replayed lessons 10 times sometimes. But when I understood something, it stuck. By 25, I was building simple websites. By 28, I had created a small learning app designed for students who struggled with traditional textbooks. Visual explanations, voice-guided lessons, interactive problem solving, the kind of tools I wish I'd had. Investors didn't take me seriously at first. No degree, no qualifications. But the product worked. Students improved. Parents noticed. Word spread. At 33, my company was valued at millions. And one morning, while scrolling through business news, I saw a headline that made me freeze. Westbridge Academy facing closure amid financial crisis. My school, enrollment had dropped. Donations dried up. Principal Holloway had retired the year before. The board was desperate. I stared at that article for a long time. I should have felt satisfied. Instead, I felt something else. Opportunity. 2 months later, I walked into a boardroom at Westbridge Academy wearing a tailored suit and carrying a proposal to buy majority ownership. The same building where I once felt invisible. Chairman Robert Hale extended his hand. "Mr. Caldwell, we're grateful for your interest." Mr. Caldwell. No one had ever called me that before. Halfway through the meeting, the door opened. Daniel Whitmore walked in. Still polished. Still confident. He worked in corporate finance now. His mother still had influence over the board. He looked at me like he was trying to solve a puzzle. Then it clicked. "Ethan?" he said quietly. I smiled. "Hi, Daniel." That was the first time I saw uncertainty in his eyes. The deal went through 3 weeks later. I didn't buy the school to destroy it. I bought it to rebuild it. The first day I addressed the students, I stood in the same hall where I once sat humiliated. The seats looked smaller now. Or maybe I was just bigger. I walked up to the podium and took a breath. 17 years ago, I began. I failed Matric in this hall. Whispers spread instantly. Teachers shifted in their chairs. I was told I wasn't academically inclined, I continued. But the truth is, the system just didn't know how to teach me. You could feel the silence settle. I stand here today not because I was the smartest student, but because I refused to believe that one exam defined my future. Then I announced the changes. A new Learning Innovation Center, alternative assessment options, specialized support programs for students with dyslexia and learning differences, technology-integrated classrooms, scholarships for students who couldn't afford extra help. Some teachers looked uncomfortable. Good. After the assembly, Mr. Brooks approached me. Older, thinner, less certain. "I suppose," he said carefully, "I may have underestimated you. I didn't need revenge." "I wasn't the only one," I replied. Later that afternoon, a nervous boy knocked on my office door. "I heard you failed once," he said. I nodded. "I think I'm going to fail, too." I saw myself in him. The shaking hands. The fear of being labeled. "You're not failing," I told him. "You're just being taught in a way that doesn't fit you yet." His eyes filled with relief. That moment meant more than the contracts, more than the money. Because here's what nobody tells you about success. It's not about proving people wrong. It's about proving yourself right. Daniel still works in finance, safe job, predictable life. Sometimes he attends board meetings. He's polite now. Life has a way of evening the scales. I don't hate Principal Holloway. I don't hate Mr. Brooks. They were products of a system that worshipped percentages. But I changed that system. Every year now, when Matric results are announced, we don't just celebrate distinctions. We celebrate improvement, effort, growth. Because no student should ever sit in that hall feeling like their future just ended. If you're watching this and you failed something, an exam, a business, a relationship, listen to me carefully. Failure is information, not identity. 17 years ago, I walked out of Westbridge Academy believing I was small. Today, I unlock the doors every morning. Same building, different story. And that is how the boy who failed Matric ended up running the school. If this story moved you even a little, take 1 second and hit like. It helps this message reach someone who feels like giving up tonight. Comment below. Have you ever been told you weren't good enough? I read every single comment. And if you believe failure is not the end, it's the beginning, subscribe and join this community of comeback stories. Your next chapter might be your greatest one.